With a game like The Phantom Pain, I just don't know where to start. The series is simply too big to be perceived with a single glance, because by doing so you will miss out on a lot of the social and political commentary that is interlaced throughout each game. And hey, I'm a sucker for social commentary, deep storytelling, and continuous narratives. You'd think this franchise is something I would consider sacred, but I don't. My problems with Metal Gear is not about the franchise itself, it's just a few issues I have in the individual games themselves. They're all subtle issues like the constant beeping from Raiden's baby call in Metal Gear Solid 2, the really cool yet way too long cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 4, and of course the inconsistent narrative in Metal Gear Rising. Now these are the issues that have put me off playing all the other games, hence why I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 1, Peace Walker or Snake Eater. And I am quite hesitant on picking up the HD collection, even though it's cheaper now, I just can't bring myself to do it. And as far as I perceive from other reviews, The Phantom Pain is the most westernized game in the entire series. Assume that camera angle from the older games has been swapped out with the behind the back camera, making the game more resemblant to a modern third-person shooter in the likes of Uncharted and the most recent Resident Evil games. Like Uncharted, however, the game is not just a generic shooting gallery. It is a third-person shooter at heart, but it has a lot of cool mechanics sprinkled in to add more meat to the bone, which is greatly appreciated. Now you can complain all you want about westernization of Japanese games, but when the conversion from this to this is this good, you won't hear me complain. The Phantom Pain takes place 9 years after the events of Ground Zeroes. More specifically, 9 years after the destruction of Mother Base. Now I'm barely scratching the surface when it comes to plot in this game. If you're in for a detailed, long analysis of the game, you're out of luck here, cause I'm reviewing this game as the casual gamer I am. The game starts off with Big Boss waking up in a hospital, going in and out of coma. He is here informed by the doctor why he's here and why he has a rock in his skull. The doctor also finds out there's dangerous about it because people are invading the hospital or something.
But you're not. The wheels are in motion. Your enemies are everywhere. We must alter your appearance immediately.
He then changes your appearance, but not actually. Weird. Now when the people invade the hospital, you of course has to escape. As an assassin approaches Big Boss, another patient jumps onto the assassin and put her on fire, and she falls through a window and probably dies. And thus begins one of the greatest prologues I've ever played. Now I see opening levels and prologues as completely different things. Where an opening level simply is just the first level of a game, a prologue is there to settle things before you're thrown into the actual game, establishing things like plot and character relationships, for example. The best part about the prologue is the tension during it, in my opinion. Not only because of the sense of danger, but the very many moments of just what the fuck. It all adds some great mystery to the entire prologue. During the escape from the hospital, Big Boss meets Revolver Ocelot, and they together try to escape the hospital. You know, from this kid Psycho Mantis and Chris Evans here? But this kid Psycho Mantis is pretty fucking cool, with psychic abilities and everything, hence the name Psycho Mantis. The only problem I have with this prologue is that it's too damn long. It tells a story that could have been told in 30 minutes. Yes, I know it serves as a tutorial, but do we really need 3 cutscenes of Buzz waking up in the same goddamn bed? As well as a few parts in the prologue where Buzz is completely gridded to a certain path. Game developers, there is nothing immersive or fun about holding forward. Now this does bother me way more than it should, but when you arrive in Afghanistan, you're thrown into this huge open area where most of the missions take place. The linearity of a prologue holds a huge contrast to all the missions that comes after it, and that is kind of the minus considering the prologue is so important in this game. Nevertheless, the prologue is pretty fucking good. It establishes everything necessary and serves as a very good hook for the player, especially newer ones like me. Once Big Boss and Ocelot has escaped from the hospital, they arrive in Kabul in Afghanistan. This is where most of the missions in the game take place, if not all of them. And this game has a lot of missions. After about 25 hours of playtime, I have received an overall completion at 9%. At first glance, this game looks absolutely fantastic. The graphics are clean and crisp, with cutscenes that are right out of a high-budget Hollywood production. With extremely human-like animations on the characters, this truly looks like a movie at times. Just look at all the facial details, that is so cool. The environments are also extremely vast, and it's quite ludicrous how they managed to vary an open world that is a place in Kabul, especially considering that Afghanistan is the most abundant setting in video games about espionage and military. Now while the graphics are great and truly defy what next-gen means, it could still be more next-gen than this. It just feels like they're sometimes really held back, which of course they kind of are. So when the game already looks this good, just imagine how good it would have looked if it went all out not having to worry about the game running on outdated hardware. Yet the game does not have a Wii U version. Just imagine the potential with the gamepad, scanning and tagging enemies, Not to mention it would allow for some seriously precise sniping. Now I'm not sure which console is the superior one, whether it's the PS3 or the Wii U, but I'm pretty sure it's the Wii U. Now with every single film, video game and even microwave, the sound design is essential. And I'm very glad to say that the sound design of Phantom Pain is fucking superb. Not only because of what it adds to the atmosphere, but also the subtlety of it. For example, enemy soldiers just having normal conversations, as well as the sound of bosses' feet touching the sand while sprinting in a desert. These things add to the overall atmosphere. And even with cutscenes and a soundtrack on the line with high budget filmmaking, the gameplay is where the Phantom Pain truly shines. At its core is the third person shooter in the likes of Uncharted and Gears of War. There are, however, tons of stuff to complement this core mechanic. Small additions like binoculars that lets you tag enemies like in Far Cry. It's pretty much identical to Far Cry in a lot of aspects when it comes to infiltration into enemy bases. Along with the binoculars, you'll get the tranquilizer. Shoot an enemy in the head and boom, falls asleep right away. Shoot him anywhere else and it will take a little while before he falls asleep. And thankfully the aim here is fucking precise as fuck. Now this of course is thanks to the fact that you're able to switch to first person mode while aiming. Granted, you can only aim in first person mode with iron sights, but it's still extremely helpful, especially when trying to take out enemies from a distance. Now throughout the game you can develop stuff for your mother base, as well as developing guns and other useful gadgets from resources you pick up during missions. One of these coolest gadgets is the extraction balloon, the Fulton extraction device as it's called. You can use this device to steal things like enemy soldiers, animals, and even enemy arsenal. Now you'll have to upgrade your Fulton device considering things that weight to them and you need to get heavier stuff, and it's just hilarious and I love it. One of the coolest things with this game overall is the goddamn cassette tapes. Throughout the game you can pick up cassette tapes containing songs from the 1980s, because you know the game takes place in the 1980s. When I found the final countdown, set it to your helicopter music immediately, and you'll be up for some epic shit.